We got our house!
Yeah!
Hi everyone, welcome to my green closet. So today I have kind of a vlog video for you about the last couple months getting ready to move, moving, and then getting our new house ready. So we bought a 2-bedroom, roughly 850 square foot house, and it's an old house. And we really wanted to approach furnishing and fixing some things up as sustainably as we could, which of course has some challenges. Because we had to get rid of all of our furniture and home things when we moved back to Canada, and then we'd been living with my brother for the past year, we had barely any furniture, kitchenware, or home things. So we basically had to furnish our entire place from scratch. And I wanted to get a lot of the stuff secondhand or from sustainable and ethical brands, and luckily we had some time before we actually needed to move in. So when we went to do our home inspection, I brought along a tape measure and measured out the dimensions of all of the rooms. And I found this program, which I'll show you guys, that allows you to create a home layout of all your rooms and put in furniture and adjust the furniture sizes. So you can basically plan out your whole place, which is incredibly helpful, especially because we want to start shopping for furniture right away, but we need to make sure that it's going to fit and it's going to work in the space. So I used Pinterest to collect some ideas and inspiration images, and then would go back and forth trying out different paint colors and ideas in the little house model, until I had a good sense of the feel and style I was hoping for. I really wanted to use Faro and Ball paint because they value sustainability and responsible sourcing, and very important, their paints are low VOC and child friendly because being pregnant, I don't want to be breathing in nasty chemicals, and it makes me feel a lot better knowing that their paints are baby safe. So after a lot of deliberation, I think we've finally chosen our paint colors. The people who owned the house before us had quite a colorful sense of style, and there are a lot of different paint colors in the house that aren't necessarily what we want. So the first color we're using is just a pretty plain white. It's almost a true white, but slightly warmer than that. We're going to be using quite a bit of in the house. And then for colors, we've decided to go with this greeny kind of sage color. This green was actually pretty hard to choose, and we went between a lot of different greens and grays and darker colors and lighter colors. And I think with the other plans I have for the room, this is gonna look really nice. And then finally, we've also chosen this beautiful kind of chalky blue, and this is gonna be going in our bedroom. I think it's gonna look really beautiful and make it a really nice, calming and cool space. Now, part of my thinking with choosing these colors is I wanted to keep the walls in somewhat similar tones, so going for more cool, kind of grayer, desaturated tones, because I want to then use warmer accents and things in furniture and decor pieces. I'd still like the pieces to be able to move around and have some cohesion throughout the house. So that's kind of why I've gone for these green and blue colors for the walls. We have a pretty good idea of what we need now, furniture and stuff-wise. So the plan is to go to thrift stores, garage sales, check out Facebook Marketplace and other buy-sell sites, and start getting some of the things. We spent a lot of time hunting for items and checking out buy-sell sites. Thankfully, my parents let us use half of their garage to store stuff in, so we were able to start picking things up before we actually moved. We found some wooden chairs secondhand, but I wanted them in white, so when we got our paint, one of our first projects was to paint the chairs. So I really wanted to find a green chair for our living room, but I wasn't totally sure that I'd be able to because obviously it isn't a really common color. But we found one and just went to pick it up, and I'm so excited for it. It is a beautiful green and it's pretty nice style and it's pretty comfortable, so it worked out so well. And yeah, I'm super stoked about this chair. So I'm not gonna lie, it definitely takes a lot more time and effort to buy all your home stuff and furniture secondhand. And we're really fortunate in some ways because here we actually have a car so we can go and pick up things. Whereas in Germany, when we were furnishing our place, we didn't have a car, so we had to coordinate basically getting all of the big furniture pieces on one day when we were renting a vehicle. But even then, not everything we can get. So we have a pretty small car, so something like a sofa isn't going to fit in our car. So our only option is to hopefully find a sofa on the day that we're renting a moving vehicle. But it still takes a lot of time to look through listings, go to stores, contact people, pick things up. You definitely do save money, that's for sure. So basically I do just want to acknowledge that it is a big time investment, and especially if you don't have something like a car, it can be really challenging. You can still get small stuff, of course, but furniture becomes a lot harder if you're not able to just go and pick up things as you find them. Now, we like to keep things minimal and functional, but I know that minimalism for me is very different than it is for others. So for me, it's not about having as little as possible, but it's about having things that we actually use and love. Comfort and style are still things that we want in our living environment. So it's not like we have all white walls, a bed, sit on the floor, and that's it. Throughout my whole minimalism journey, I've always gone back to the quote from William Morris, which is, "Have nothing in your house that you do not know to be useful or believe to be beautiful." And I really tried to keep that in mind when we were planning our new place and make sure that everything has a role. Time seemed to fly by, and before we knew it, we were already getting possession. So as you can see, we have the car fully packed and we are about to go get the keys to our new house. So we just took possession of our house, and I'll do a quick little tour before we've done anything so you guys can kind of see what it was like before. So this is the front entryway, which we're going to be completely redoing because they were using it as a closet space, and we're going to turn it back into a front entryway space. And then you come into the living room. We're going to have probably a little workspace on this side, and then kind of the couch, living room area on this side. So this will be our main living space. And then you go through here into the dining room. So we'll have our table and stuff here. So this is kind of interesting. They had opened up this wall and we're using this as a living area. Now, because we're sort of reconfiguring how they had the house, we're gonna turn this into a bedroom, which is probably what it initially was. Because basically, we don't need a huge bedroom, we just need space for a bed and some closets. So our idea is to basically put some closets along this side to cover up the whole this way, and then we'll have just our bed and side tables, because that's really all we need in the bedroom. And then on this side, the dining room side, we're gonna build in just a little simple shelving unit.
Probably.
And I'm hoping that that works out well, so we can kind of reclose this space and use that as our bedroom. Here's the bathroom. We're not really going to be doing anything much with this, maybe just some little decor things, but in terms of like painting or redoing things, not a lot's going to happen here. And then this is the baby's room, which needs quite a bit of work. They were using this before as some kind of studio space and had a lot of like shelving and things built into the wall, so there's a ton of holes and stuff that needs to be fixed. And I would say this room is definitely in the worst shape out of all the rooms in the house. But this is going to be the baby's little nursery room with a crib and glider and a dresser and that kind of thing. But we've got a lot of work to do in this room for sure. Off the dining room is the kitchen, and we're really excited about this because usually in these older houses, the kitchens are pretty small and kind of awkward, but we have a huge kitchen, definitely the biggest kitchen that we've ever had. We're not really gonna do a whole lot in the kitchen because it's in decent shape and there's not a lot that we have to do. But that is basically the upper floor of the house, and there is a staircase down here into the basement, which is finished, which is great. So that's our house. We just got the keys and we're going to get to work on it right away. One of the first things we needed to do was paint the bedroom. Since it's a very small space, there wouldn't be much room to paint once our bed was in. So this is the color that we're painting our bedroom. It's like this really beautiful, chalky kind of gray blue. I don't know how well you guys can see it on camera, but all these walls are getting painted that color. And then we moved the closets from the front room to the bedroom to start separating that space. So things are slowly coming together. We've painted the walls in the bedroom. We have our bed in. We've also moved some of the closets into this room, although we're still trying to figure out exactly how we're going to arrange this. When we were looking for pieces, we not only were looking for items that fit our style and needs, but also for pieces that were good quality and would last us a long time. And I actually found the process of furnishing our house very similar to the process of building a curated conscious closet, where you have to balance both your personal style and lifestyle needs, and then try to source things in a more conscious way. So this is the couch that we picked up yesterday, and I'm so happy we were able to find one secondhand. Ben and some friends went and got it last night, and she even included a couple pillows, which I'm gonna make new pillowcases for, but it's a really beautiful couch, and we got it for way cheaper than we would have if we bought it new. So we managed to get a lot of stuff secondhand. We were also gifted a lot of things that friends and family no longer wanted. The house came with a few things, and we also got some new things from fair trade companies like 10,000 Villages. And Maytrade and Globin also kindly gifted us some kitchen and home pieces. But we did also end up buying a few things new from IKEA that we just couldn't find, and I will get into that more in a bit. One really cool place we were excited to discover is the Habitat for Humanity Restore. If you haven't heard of Habitat for Humanity, they are a nonprofit that builds houses for people in need. And they also have stores where they sell all kinds of random new and used home and building supplies that are donated, which maybe don't work for their projects, and the money of course goes back to the organization. So we tried to get as much of our home building supplies from there as we could. And for tools, we were able to borrow everything that we needed. Our next big painting and fixing project was the baby's room. So as you can see, this room was full of holes from shelves that the previous owners had put in the walls. So my dad very kindly came and helped us patch them all up so we can hopefully paint tomorrow. So Ben is doing the second coat of paint, and this room is looking a million times better. So after a lot of spackling and painting, the room is almost done, and it makes such a big difference not having that yellow and having those huge holes in the wall. So there were huge gaps between the wall and the floorboards. So what we decided to do is run this piece of wood along the edge, and then we're just putting the baseboards on top of it like that to basically fill that extra gap. So the nursery is slowly coming together. We've got the dresser in, glider in the corner, just finishing up the cushions. And then we're gonna be wallpapering this wall soon. One of the bigger DIY projects I did was sewing custom cushions for this wooden glider frame that we got. It's a weird size, so regular cushions don't fit, and buying cushion foam is pretty unsustainable since it's all petroleum based, and natural latex foam can be pretty expensive, so I really wasn't sure what to do at first. But then I found out there was a small foam mattress my grandmother had in storage and wasn't using. They were planning on just getting rid of it, so I was actually able to use that and cut it into the cushions I needed. And then I sewed covers for them. This is my sewing room, and it really needs some paint. I'm not a huge fan of this, but It will have to wait because the nursery is for sure a priority. I only am 2 weeks away from my due date, so have to get the nursery together and I can tackle this room later. So next up is painting over this very dark gray wall. And I think we're gonna need a lot of primer for this one. Another DIY project I did was making a little macrame plant hanger. And then our biggest project was probably separating the space between the dining room and the bedroom. So we have the closets mostly configured. We did end up going to IKEA this morning though and picking up 2 extra drawers just because we didn't have enough space for smaller and folded things. But other than that, we were able to completely use the closets that they had up front. So let's chat quickly about new furniture and IKEA. Well, we tried to get as much as possible secondhand, and I think we're pretty successful overall. We did end up buying a few things new from IKEA, basically items that we couldn't find anyone selling or in thrift stores. Now, IKEA is essentially the fast fashion of furniture, so definitely not my first choice, but if you need something, they very likely have it, and I do think that they are doing some good things to at least be a bit more sustainable. My biggest tip for shopping at IKEA would be to check out the as-is section first. I think it's really great that they actually sell these items instead of just throwing them away, and we were able to get some pretty good things there, and it's of course even more affordable. IKEA has lots of information available about their products, so you can at least try to choose some more sustainable materials. And we also always make sure to read reviews and not buy anything that people say can break really fast. So yeah, ideally I would have loved to avoid IKEA and get everything secondhand or from sustainable and ethical brands, but we're not perfect, and like with everything, I think it really is about trying your best, and sometimes there aren't conscious options available, but you can still do things like make sure you're getting pieces that you know that you're gonna have and use a long time. So we designed the shelf to be partially open because we still wanted to get some light going through. But then we needed a way to cover up the backs of the closets. And after brainstorming some different options, we decided to go with a peel and stick wallpaper because the pattern also helped visually break up the back of the closet. Since the house is so old, nothing is really straight, so we had to build everything into the space. So we've got all the horizontal shelves in, and Ben also shimmed up this cabinet, which was very crooked, and very obvious how crooked it was once you had all these other shelves in. The shelf is coming along. We've got the bottom piece done, the top piece done, and then we just have 2 more going in the middle. I love how the shelf turned out and how it's made the space a lot more functional for us. It's also the perfect place to display the few treasures that we have. And of course, projects are gonna pop up that we didn't expect. So we removed the cabinet from the dining room, and obviously the previous owners had not fully painted the wall, so there's more painting to do. We still need to do the wallpaper in the nursery, which hopefully we can get done this weekend. We just had someone come and inspect our gas lines, and it turns out our stove is broken and leaking carbon monoxide, so we have to replace it. For the stove, we weren't able to pick one up or drop our old one off with our small car. So we went to a supplier that carries appliances with slight defects. So maybe they have a little scratch or a dent, or were used in a show home or something, and we got a stove through them, and they also drop it off and pick up your old one for recycling or refurbishing. Overall though, I'm really happy with what we were able to get and the budget we stuck to, and there will be a home tour coming out next, so you'll be able to see everything finished and put together. We still have a bit more to do though, and new projects keep popping up, but at least now we have a livable home and all of the big stuff is done before the baby comes. If you made it this far through this very long video, I really hope you enjoyed it and seeing this process, and I'd love to hear if you liked this kind of style of video. I usually don't film this sort of vlog style. But anyways, thank you for watching, and thank you so much to those of you supporting me on Patreon, and I'll see you in the next one.